better than this, do they? In the third place, winning away at Ibrox, another manager of the month, last month. What else can you achieve?
Another 3 points at the weekend would be exactly what's required. If I'm being honest, I think the players deserve all the praise and credit for the run we've been on. I know everyone's talking about it, the effort that's went into it, what I'm seeing, the feeling, the momentum around about the training ground every day. But there's one more game before the split. It's something that when we secured that top 6, that was the minimum requirement. Then it's about how many points can we accumulate before the split. And then after that, once we get to that point, it's all about the teams round about you, and that's when we're competing at the right end of the table, and we want to get as high as we can. But we've got one game to go, home game against a team that's fighting for their lives as well, so it'll be a real difficult game.
But the season, though, you don't want to end, does it? Because of the way you're going.
I don't know about not wanting it to end, to be honest, but I think no, it's certainly something that the players are full of confidence. The feel-good factor around the club, the connection with the fans and everything that goes with that. This attendance is getting bigger every week, and the momentum is building around the football club, which is fantastic. And as I say, that's just a reflection of everybody involved and all the hard work that's going into it.
What have you learned during this winning period that you could have done with earlier on in the season?
I think it's probably quite easy for me to say now, when I talked about going through the difficult period and what that was like and what I believed spurred me on to make sure it was going to turn and why I believed it would turn. A lot of it was just confidence in the players, and I'm really seeing that every day. The group's so close on the training pitch. You see that when we score goals, everyone goes together, the bench all celebrate together, the togetherness within the group. And I just think, players are making really good decisions all the time. If they do make a mistake, their teammates are backing them up, and we're all pulling in the same direction, and that's something that every team needs to have to be successful.
We're in mid-April now. I don't doubt that you'll have plans for who's going to be staying, who's going to be coming in the summer. Is there anybody here who's out of contract at the moment who can still win you over?
No, I don't think it's a case of winning anybody over. I think there's a number of players that are still playing now that are out of contract, that there's conversations being had with all the players, and that will all be resolved in the coming days, weeks, months between now and the end of the season. What I would say is everyone's pulling in the same direction. There's no real distractions around it all. Everyone's dead focused on what we're trying to achieve this season, and long may that continue. That's my job, is to make sure when we get on that training pitch and when they go on the pitch on a Saturday or a Sunday that the only focus and only distractions about trying to make sure we get 3 points, and that's something that we've done really well for a number of weeks now. We want to keep that going.
Because of what you've achieved though in this run, does that mean players want to stay? Yeah,
I think they do. I'd like to think they would, for all the reasons you talk about. Why would you come to this football club, and the opportunity when you do come here is to compete at the top end of the league, to go to places like Ibrox and Celtic Park and put in performances and go there and try and get a result. Scenes like last weekend when you can go there and win, brilliant moments, and then what you're actually competing for, which is the opportunity to try and finish in Europe. And if we can do that and you're playing European football next season, that's a massive carrot for any player, any young player especially as well, or even the senior players that maybe haven't had fantastic careers, or maybe but never had the opportunity to play in Europe. You have to finish at the very top end of your league to be able to do that. And that is a genuine opportunity when you come to this club. So, as I've already said, the feel-good factor, the togetherness around the club and the momentum around the club at the moment, it's a fantastic place to be and work for.
I suppose your message to the players must be keep winning games and you're going to achieve your goal. Because if you keep winning games, nobody can catch you.
Exactly. The line you've just used at the end there is something I've used a lot in the last few weeks, which is, once we caught the team in front of us, which is something I've talked a lot about, was then you're now being chased, and how that changes, and everyone else's momentum around that. And it's quite simply put, if we keep winning, nobody can catch us, and that has to be the mindset and the focus, taking one game at a time. It's something that we've been really conscious of and worked really well for us, which is taking that one game at a time. And if you think back to the reverse fixture, the last time we played Dundee was our lowest point in the season. To lose the game up there at Dens 4-1 to where we are now, we're a completely different animal, obviously. And we want to make sure we keep pushing forward.
I think Dundee, the only team you've not beaten this season.
No, I think St Mirren as well. But definitely, that's another carrot for the players. That's another team that. But what it does is it shows much a challenge the game's going to be. You know, Dundee fighting for their lives, but they're also a team that score a lot of goals. I think they scored the same amount of goals as us this season, or if not very similar. So always carry a threat. Really force you to defend, loads of energy, especially in the middle of the pitch. And you know what Simon Murray brings you with the constant threat he gives you. So we'll need to be ready for that. The players will be ready for it. But as I say, it's a game at home with the expectations us to try and get 3 points, and that's what we'll make sure we try and do.
And you know what Simon Murray's all about as well.
I do. I haven't played with him yet, on and off the pitch, which is, you know, he's certainly an asset to have in your dressing room for all the reasons, and it's great to see him doing so well. Just hopefully another weekend.
A Scotland call-up for him? Is that a realistic?
No, I think it's hard to come away for the goals he scored. You know, that's something that he scored a lot of goals consistently now for a couple of seasons, and just his work ethic and his desire to try and win all the time, and I think it's infectious around the group. And as I say, he's had a fantastic season again so far this season. Hopefully he's quiet at the weekend. We've got a job to make sure we do that, and if he was to get a call up, he would be deserving of it before everything he put in it.
Team use?
In wise it'll be a similar squad, but in terms of the injured ones, you've still got no Joe, no Ellie. Quan's been nursing a bit of an ankle injury, so unlikely this weekend, and Rudy's the one that's picked up a little bit of a groin issue, but again, we'll just see if he goes. He's not a longer term thing, we'll just manage him.